What's going on, everybody? Snowden here. You guys are all about to get a taste of the WrestleMania 41 Predictions podcast. If you want to check out the full hour-long plus clip, you got to head over to the C2 Wrestling page. That is also where myself, Chris, Ryan, and Kevin from Fab Reactions and the honorary Oos Alec are all going to get together April 19th and 20th for WrestleMania 41. If you're going to be there for the big show, you might as well go head over there now and check out the Prediction podcast.
We'll move on to the main event of night one. CM Punk finally main events WrestleMania. Takes on Roman Reigns, takes on Seth Rollins. It's an interesting one.
It is.
I think I have a feeling on who isn't going to win, but I'm struggling to pick between two on who I think is going to win.
You know what? I feel like before any of us even pick our winners, let's just lay this out there. Like, I feel like the favor stuff is very interesting, and the fact they added this Seth Rollins favor, because ultimately I felt like the Seth Rollins turn was a thing that was looming. Like, or Heyman and Rollins collaboration was a thing that would happen at Mania, and that would be a reveal at Mania. And now that they've already teased it, I thought it would be like nobody sees it coming type of deal. Now that they've already teased that there's some sort of something that we should be expecting there between the two, I think that is very interesting. And almost, I had Rollins winning, and makes me take a step back a little bit now. Now I'm like, oh fuck. Now they've talked about it too much now. So stop talking about it. I don't want them to talk about it anymore. Anyway.
And
I think it's very interesting, the dynamics.
I will say the favor with Seth Rollins has definitely added a bit of intrigue. I think it adds a little bit of an extra layer to Seth Rollins can win the match. I do think they're maybe pushing it a little bit too hard. I think that idea of Paul Heyman helping Seth, not really helping Seth, but more not helping Punk and Roman. There's definitely a chance that happens. I don't know if they're pushing it too hard, though. I would like to see it in a way. Seth is one of those guys that, yeah, he did hold the world heavyweight title for a while leading into Mania, but he deserves a big win. He's always deserved a big win, and this could be it for Seth. Roman needs a win, to kind of maybe get back into that place where Roman is, not that he's not formidable. He's one of the most formidable guys in the company, but, could always use a win. CM Punk's first Mania main event. He's off the back of beating Drew a matter of months ago. He gets a win. He maybe becomes number one contender. It can go any way. I'm interested to see what Kevin has to say. Who do you got, Kevin?
I've thought the whole time that Seth's going to win. I think he's going to pin Punk. That's just what I've thought. I don't know why. I think Seth, like you just said, deserves to win, and I love Seth Rollins. That's why I'm picking him.
Kevin's going to win the Fab Championship just by being blunt and straightforward. I just want this guy to win. Yeah.
See, actually, that's why
I don't think Roman's getting pinned at all.
I don't think all that out about Rollins. I think the Rollins stuff is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Alex, who you got?
Yeah, Ryan brought up a good point. I mean, I was on board with Seth winning, but now that they brought it up with this favor, I'm like, oh man, I might be going back and forth now. I didn't think Roman was going to win. Regardless, I was always going back between CM Punk and Seth Rollins. Oh man, this one's tough.
It is hard.
Yeah, this is tough. I'm going to stick with Seth Rollins winning. I'm gonna piggyback off what everybody's been saying right now is Seth deserves this, and he carried WrestleMania last year, and he's had great feuds this entire year, even after Mania. So I think it's his time. Yes, he's had moments, but it's been a long time since he's really got his flowers. And I feel like this would be his moment to be yeah, I beat Roman Reigns and CM Punk, main eventing, taking away, betraying Roman years ago, 12 years ago, whatever that was. And then CM Punk, his hatred towards him is top notch. He despises Roman for him bringing him into the WWE. So I think Seth Rollins is going to win here.
Yeah, Ryan, have you given a pick?
No, I think it'll be Rollins. But man, I hope it's Rollins, and I hope we get the same way that last year they had Rollins, not the same thing exactly, but just a very wrap it all together, like years and years of storytelling, whether it's a steel chair or it's a something that, like, there's so much that they can do with these three guys and their history. And it's been 10 years since Rollins cashed in at Mania, like on Roman in a triple threat. Like, there's just so many things. Heyman was fucking there during that because of Brock. Like, there's just so much going on there. I think it's fascinating. I'm gonna go with Rollins. I think it would be funny as fuck though if Reigns just won though.
Yeah.
Well, I will jump in and I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going CM Punk. I honestly don't know. I really don't know who's going to win this match. I think there's a lot of credibility to Rollins winning. I think the idea of the favor, not even really just the favor, but CM Punk kind of really putting Heyman in the middle of things. Heyman asks, why would you do that? Why do you got to put me in the middle? Helps Rollins wins. I get that. But I do still think that the tension potentially between Rollins and Roman is deeper than maybe the Rollins and Punk or the Punk and Roman tension. So I think it might come down to that. Rollins and Roman, and maybe Punk does get the sneaky win. Heyman straight up helps Punk. Maybe there's a fallout of Heyman and Roman. I think that might be the Roman story. Oh my God, I said that weird. Roman story moving forward is kind of the Heyman tension between him and what is left of the bloodline, I suppose. I'm going CM Punk.
I can see any of these three guys winning, like, easily. This is like the closest. This is straight up like 33.3, 33.3, 33.3 as
yeah,
Scott Steiner style.
Exactly. So I just got to go back to old reliable when you're making this pick. And you look in the book and it says you don't bet against Nick Saban at Alabama. You don't bet against Bill Belichick at the New England Patriots, and you don't bet against Roman Reigns. And that's just who I'm going to pick. I think Reigns pins Punk.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I was in debate between Punk and Roman for that exact idea that Roman is the same as going against Charlotte. I'm going against the two people that you kind of never go against. But I don't know, something about Punk. I did also want to mention, I'm running with the idea that they are setting up Punk Cena at Money in the Bank. And how do you get Punk there if Cena's going to win this championship? Punk needs a big win, and I think it would be the WrestleMania win.
I mentioned I was split between two. I was split between Rollins and Reigns. I think Punk, it is the classic case of you've always wanted the main event. Like, you got it.
Doesn't have to win
you're
it.
winning it.
Yo, when he wins the main event of Mania, it should be a night 2 for the championship.
Agreed.
Man, that would, and it should be against The Rock. But whatever, that's another story. We'll talk about that down the line.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, speaking of where The Rock could get involved, there's one more matchup left, right?
The final match, the final boss.
My prediction for this is going to get nutty.
Okay.
I'm going off the fucking walls for this one, all right?
So we'll save you for last then, so you can go on.
I don't really know. I have no fucking idea.
All right. Cena. Cody. WWE Championship. Main event, night 2. Look, I mentioned earlier, I was picking with my head instead of my heart. This one, it doesn't matter if it's with my head or my heart. I like both. I love both. I'm happy with either one. I just can't sit here as a Cody crybaby and pick against Cody. I know it would feel like it would squash so much, and it makes perfect sense as to why Cena would win. And it all the stories, it's all written that Cena would win and Cena's going to have this title reign. But as Ryan said, when it just feels so obvious, they sometimes just go the other direction. And even though Cody kind of seems more like what's the word I'm looking for? Like grateful, and seems like he knows it's over in some interviews that he's done, I can't pick against him, man. That's my guy. I'm picking Cody. I'm picking with my heart of hearts, Cody Rhodes.
I'm going to speak up next because I feel like I've kind of hinted at it already throughout this podcast. I've talked about it over the time on C2. I'm John Cena here. I think you got to strike. You turn the biggest babyface of all time heel for him to lose the title match. I don't really see that. I think you got to strike while the iron's hot, put the title on John Cena. Now, I'm not going to go crazy in my prediction, but I'm not ruling out anything honestly insane. You know, last year, The Undertaker showed up. You know, there was a lot of talk about who's going to be where. Stone Cold says he wants to be involved this year. But now here's the thing. I don't know if they're done building some sort of faction here with The Rock and Travis Scott and John Cena. I think there could be an instance where I'm not going to say it's Stone Cold. I'm not going to say it's Randy Orton. I don't know who, but there might be some involvement of somebody helping Cody Rhodes who ends up not helping Cody Rhodes. I think John Cena walks out with the championship one way or another.
Alec.
Man, both of you guys like made me go back and forth again.
No, it's tough.
It is tough.
This is tough, man.
Oh
We talk
man,
about
I
how
was
it's
so
split for
solid
many.
with the answer here, but now I
Right.
don't even know what to choose. Oh man, I'm just gonna go with my gut. I'm gonna go with John Cena winning the title. I was really coming in. I was honestly coming in with Cody as my pick.
Okay.
And now Snowden.
Got him.
Yeah, literally at that moment, I was like, oh man, he's got good points. So yeah, I mean, I could definitely see this faction up, and obviously watching the episodes with you guys been talking about this possible faction that they could develop because The Rock hasn't been on TV. He hasn't even really been mentioned. So it's like I feel like it makes sense for like Cody not retaining because if Cena wants to bring out The Rock eventually, it's gonna have to come out and maybe start a faction, carry us into SummerSlam and have Cena hold the title and then maybe get a Punk match because I really do think we're going to get a Punk Cena match down the line. And I don't know what this will do with Cody, but Cody doesn't need the title because I think he's built his way up to be such a face now. Just kind of like with Roman, Seth, they're all in this category where they're like they skyrocket. They don't even need the titles anymore to really be like solidified. So I think Cody's at that point, which is crazy to think about. Like 3 years ago. But now I think, like I said, I'm gonna go with Cena. I think with Cena being heel, you gotta strike while it's hot. And Snowden said like that's spot on. Like, because then what? Cody wins. I love Cody. I love both of them. But then what?
Mhm.
That's like the question. It's like all that for what? That's like you don't want
But
to leave with like those type of questions at the end of Mania with like Cena being healed because it was everybody that didn't even watch wrestling talked about it. It was everywhere. It was all over social media. It was like the amount of times I watched that video of Cena, the the straight
yeah, the
every single
straight
time.
holes in the belt. Yeah.
I've watched that a million times, and it's like again, it was all over ESPN. It was all over the news. So I just feel like you gotta strike while it's hot, and this is the time.
Putting the
Putting you
new.
in the news.
Putting the
Sorry, I
new-
just had it. I saw it in your eyes, Chris. I saw it. I saw it. There.
Kevin, who you going with?
I think Cena's winning. He was my pick the whole time, and I just, like you said, I don't know. I just don't think it makes any sense to turn him heel and have him not win. That's
Okay.
what I think.
Let's hear the pitch, Ryan. What's going to go down?
I don't have any crazy
I was
ideas.
gonna
Like, I don't know what's gonna
I
happen.
really, ultimately, I feel like what you guys are saying is the truth. That is the big bulk of it. That it's hard to, it's the archer. That it's hard to do this such a huge moment like that. What I really think is interesting that Cena only has until December, right? So like you weigh out both of the options. If he wins right now, then he holds the title for however long. Like it's hard to think about it down the line, but like if he loses this, is he going to really spend the entire year like trying to find a way to get the title? Or does he do something in the interim? I feel like it's so weird. Everything about this is weird. Where is The Rock? What is The Rock doing? And what is he up to? I feel like that is so interesting. I do feel like this feud is a lot of like there's really not a lot going on. They've just been talking in the ring together, you know what I mean? And it hasn't been bad. They've been incredible segments, but I'm confused. I don't know what's happening. I want more development with The Rock. I want it to wrap together at WrestleMania. But the fact that there's been so little development, I don't know what there is to even wrap up at this point. So I'm going to go with Cena.
Okay.
That's why I think Cody wins because the lack of The Rock.
That's when I said Cena there, I was like, fuck, that made no sense. But I want to go with Cena because I don't feel like him, if he loses, I'd be like, God, you gotta get. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea what's
You
gonna
know,
happen.
so kind of like talking it out here and like thinking about it all. And again, I'm not ruling out some crazy thing going down because we haven't gotten The Rock quite much. That would be the alternative to Cody winning, is because we haven't gotten a lot of The Rock. But man, like I'm mapping out in my head, and this is fantasy booking. But I do see a world where Cena is in the ring with Cody and The Rock's music hit.
Yes.
And he comes out, and then we hear that glass break, and out comes Stone Cold. And they're all in the ring, but Stone Cold stuns Cody Rhodes, and we get some crazy fucking ending to the show. Who knows? You know?
No, dude, that exact scenario has ran through my head. But it's like stuff like that, and even like whoever. Like I wanted to be Triple H in a pedigree, like coming to save the day. Triple H coming to save the day. Pedigree's Cody, like just some crazy shit like that.
You know,
like why? Like
I do also got to add real quick. I'm a very like history repeats itself type person. I feel like, and Hogan turns heel in the WCW. I don't know off the top of my head how long after he won the championship. You know, I don't know the math right there, but he won the fucking championship. John Cena's going to win the championship. It's a matter of when. I don't know how you work it back up if it's not at WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. Like I don't know how you convince me. Not that you need to convince John Cena gets another title shot in his last year. Of course he can, but like with the fucking Rock, the boss, like you know he can do whatever he wants. But I totally agree that just do it now when it makes sense.
Yeah, you're not gonna have Cena win a title at like Bad Blood, or I feel like WrestleMania's like the top of the top, and then you have SummerSlam, but that's August.
Well, you know what? He could win the title at WrestleMania Backlash.
I guess like the only way, I think if Cody wins, Cena just probably doesn't win 17 at all. Like as crazy as that sounds, tomato. As crazy as that sounds, if he doesn't win at Mania, you may as well just not have him fucking win it.
I want him to, like, if he were to lose, and I feel like it's just a little too early to tell this part of the story. I feel like it's fascinating because somebody has to win the match. Somebody has to win, and you need to go some direction. Like, that's the best part. But I feel like the story is there to be told that Cena completely abandoned everything that he stood for so long. And he's like, wow, I did all that, and I still didn't win the title, and like having to, you know, look himself in the mirror, go back to being John Cena. That story is there to be told, but it's just there's so many months. There's so many months to work with here. What do you do with these months? That is what's it's fucking crazy. It's fascinating.
I think there's so many John Cena title feuds that can go down between Styles, Orton. You know, you got new faces, Braun Breaker. You know, there's so many matches they can do there with John Cena. It's very interesting. I do think John Cena wins the 17th world title. I think it's going to happen at WrestleMania. Even if it doesn't happen at WrestleMania, I think it happens, but I do think it becomes a little bit more like, how do you do it at that point? I think, though, too, with Cody winning, the story, I can compare it to Gunther and Jay. They're on Gunther and Jay, and then Cena and Cody are on opposite sides of the table right now, where the story is always about getting the belt off the bad guy, the good guy beating the bad guy. And, you know, it might not even be Jay. Maybe Jay is not the one to defeat big bad Gunther, but eventually there's going to be a babyface that comes across and does. Cody Rhodes has to lose the belt for them to restart that story for somebody, and that somebody is Cody Rhodes again. Cody Rhodes is going to win the championship back from John Cena, be over the moon, and then again, you have a whole new world with Cody Rhodes. Post John Cena retiring, that belt goes back on Cody Rhodes. You open yourself up to a new world of title feuds for Cody Rhodes. He had some electric feuds this year that I think were great. AJ Styles, fantastic reference, but they don't really get the time of day for some reason. But they were all kind of predictable. Everybody kind of knew Cody Rhodes was holding the belt until WrestleMania. Going into next WrestleMania, it would be different if Cody Rhodes was champion again. And I got to ask, what the fuck is so funny?
I'm not telling you.
Yeah, I do think that. What the hell happened here?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I was gonna say, yeah, I can't lie. I have no idea. I just started laughing because they were chuckling.
More fun like this is coming. WrestleMania 41 Saturday and Sunday. Make sure you tune in. We'll be live for it on C2 Wrestling.
I have no idea. I can't lie. I couldn't see what that was.
Oh man. Oh God. Oh, more laughs to come. Alec, Ryan, Kevin, Snowden, thank you. See you guys in a couple days for when Cody wins, LOL.
Yeah.
We'll see. It's gonna be a good time though. C2 Wrestling, FAP Reactions, the reunion. See you soon.